Hey, it's Craig. I just wanted to let you know that you can listen to Canadian History X early and ad-free on Amazon Music, included with Prime. Greetings and welcome to another episode of Canadian History X. If you like, you can support the podcast for as little as $3 a month. Just go to patreon.com/CanadaEHX. You can also donate to the podcast by going to CanadaEHX.com and clicking donate. I do all of this full time, and every dollar you give helps keep all of it going. From the beginning of June until the end of August, I will be taking a cross-Canada history tour. I'm going to be visiting various rural historical attractions, all of the graves of the Prime Ministers except for R.B. Bennett because he is buried in England, and I'm going to be going from coast to coast to coast, the Atlantic, the Pacific, and the Arctic over the course of the 90 days. This is going to be a bare-bones trip for me, sleeping in tents and just enjoying the history and nature of Canada. If you'd like, you can help support this trip by going to my GoFundMe page. I'll put the link in my show notes. Today I'm speaking with Georgia Waters, who recently saw her project SIREN launch on Disney Plus this month. Based out of Vancouver, she's quickly rising the ladder of success with 2 leading roles in both SIREN and the sci-fi horror feature Toys of Terror. So we're going to talk about Toys of Terror, SIREN, and many other things. So why don't we get right to the interview? How have you been doing over the past year with COVID and all the impacts that it's had on all our lives?
Gosh, been a mixed bag. Kind of there's been low moments and then moments where I'm like, oh, this is fine. I can deal with this. Most of my family are back in England, so they've been hit really hard with COVID in terms of the amount of numbers. A lot of my family did also get COVID, so it's been a bit. The end of last year was pretty tough, but then this year it is hopeful. I think you can get that sense of hope, and light finally seems to be at the end of the tunnel. So
it does, yeah, finally. But you have a big project coming. It's coming out on Disney Plus this month. So tell me a bit about SIREN.
Yeah, so SIREN is a TV show about a fictional town called Bristol Cove, based in Washington. And then it's about mermaids who interact with the humans in that town. They're driven on land for a number of reasons. In the first season, it's because one of them is searching for her sister who's been kidnapped by the military for testing. The second one is because of overfishing, and the sonar radar from the fishing boats is causing trouble to our fishing patterns. And then the third season, all 3 seasons will be on Disney Plus. That's about a kind of war between different mermaid tribes. So they tackle quite a lot of different themes, including like the environment, being an outsider, hating other things that are different to you. And my character's a mermaid, so I play a healer mermaid on the show. Did you record a lot of it during COVID? And if so, did that impact it at all, the process of doing that? We finished it all before COVID. So that wasn't impacted, luckily, because the cast is like all over. We've got people in New Zealand, in England, in the States. So I think that would have been a challenge trying to get everyone into Canada again. So we got it finished, which is good.
What's it like going on to something like Disney Plus, which is such a massive streaming service now, and you can reach so many people, even more than you probably reach being on television? What's it like to knowing that so many people are going to enjoy your work?
It's amazing. It's so nice because here in Canada, people weren't able to watch the show previously. So now being on Disney Plus means that, when I talk about my work, everyone can see it. And I think it's a show that speaks to so many different cultures, because mermaids are within all cultures if you look at history. So I think it's a universal fascination. So I'm really excited for it to reach a wider audience.
But that's not the only thing that you have going on. You had Toys of Terror that came out last year. Tell me a bit about that.
Yeah, so that just before Christmas, and then beginning of this year, it's available on DVD. It's about a family who go to a house that the mother is renovating. But what she doesn't tell the rest of the family and my character is that the reason why it was so cheap is because there was a murder. Well, not a murder. All the children in the children's hospital died. So we start to see strange things happening. And my character is the nanny to the family, and she's also dealing with her own loss. She lost her own child, and because of the strange things happening in the house, she might also lose these children that she's looking after. So it's about her struggle to ensure that they survive, is what I would say without ruining the plot.
Did COVID impact that at all, putting it together?
Almost. I remember the first few cases were coming in as we were still filming, but luckily the lockdown didn't stop it. We just managed. I think it was like this time last year the lockdown started, and I just got back to Vancouver. But it was very strange filming and like watching the news and seeing, I guess, things slowly happening, and you're like, oh my god. At first you just assume it's not going to impact our day-to-day lives, and then suddenly it really does.
I guess going back a bit, how did you get involved in acting? What inspired you to go to it, and what brought you to Canada?
So I've always performed. I think it's just in my blood. Since I can remember, I was always wanting to be on stage, any opportunity at school. So then I did various theatre groups, would spend all my time that I could performing. And then at university, I did an English literature degree, but I joined the Drama Society, where I did a lot of plays at the Oxford Playhouse. And then I was scouted by an agent there. So then that kind of started my professional acting career. So yeah, it's kind of always been there, but in position to being paid to do it, which is great.
Yeah, absolutely. And is that what brought you to Canada?
Yeah, a mixture. So I was living in London before, and I had a few actor friends who are based in Vancouver, and they said, you should think about moving out here because there's so much happening. And my partner loves to snowboard, which you can't do in London. Well, as soon as I was like, oh, what do you think of Vancouver? He was like, oh, absolutely, sign us up now. So yeah, we made the move, and that coincided as well with booking SIREN, which is really lucky. So yeah, it was a very fortuitous move.
Looking back at COVID, do you feel like the arts, we're really starting to see the importance of it, whether it's theater, movies, shows, books, we're seeing the importance of it in our lives because it's helped us so much to get through the past year at the very least of the pandemic?
Definitely. I think it's emphasized how much we need it, everyone, and the kind of the collective experience it can create. So what's been amazing about COVID is that so much of what we were watching, say in person, is now online. So there are a few theatre productions in London which they did online versions, so I got to watch it here, but also my friends and family back home were watching at the same time. So that was something quite magical about that. But I think it shows how much in times of adversity that we need escapism, which is interesting why suddenly everyone was watching films about pandemics. So I don't need to see that. We're living that. I want something completely different.
Absolutely. Is family and friends in England, are they able to see SIREN on Disney Plus, or do they have to wait to see it?
They can, yeah. So they can watch on Disney Plus, and I think a lot of them watched it on Amazon as well.
Okay.
So friends were watching it back in England, and friends in Australia as well, which is great. But now here in Canada, it's also much easier as well, which is great.
So what's coming up for you over the course of the next year?
So I have a feature coming out called Viewfinder, and that will be, we don't have an exact release date yet. I think it's all, so many films are not sure when they're going to get released this year. So it's on concrete information about that. But I'm excited for that to come out. It's very different to what I've done previous projects. It's more about mental health. It's a thriller. So quite a lot darker, even though Toys of Terror is quite dark, but it's more psychological and darker. And then I'm also just really focusing on my own writing projects. I did start those actually before COVID hit, and then having a pause in the industry meant that I really got to focus on those. So now it's trying to get those into fruition. So those are mainly historical dramas about strong women who haven't been showcased throughout history yet. So I'm really excited to hopefully get those stories told.
What got you interested in writing, and especially writing historical dramas?
So I guess my background in studying English literature, I spent a lot of time writing critically in my degree. But then I've also always written my own, mainly fictional pieces alongside that. And then I guess as an actor, not having much control over the stories that you're telling, the idea of saying, well, these stories that I know about, I can make that happen. I can write a script and then hopefully we can get it made. So I think there's a part of that of saying, well, if you're not seeing the work that you want to be in, you start to create it. So yeah, it's quite therapeutic as well, having something that you can control. You know, I can come and sit at my laptop each day and write the words. Whereas a lot in acting, you can do all the auditions, but the rest of it isn't under your control.
Absolutely. And I guess when you're not writing, you're not acting, what do you like to do in your spare time in Vancouver?
So I love to cycle around. It's a great city to cycle in. And there's beautiful beaches. Like to do hiking. And luckily those kind of things that you can do at the moment anyway. But in normal times, you know, I love to see friends and to have them over for dinner. Very excited to do that again. So yeah, we're very lucky that there's so much natural beauty here to experience, and we still have that despite everything that's going on.
And if people want to follow you on social media, or if there's a website or anything like that, how can they kind of follow you and see what you're up to?
So I'm on Instagram, which is Georgia_Scarlett_Waters. And then Twitter, I think it's the same on Twitter. I'll have to check that. But I mostly use Instagram at the moment. With Twitter, I took a pause from that, but I'm sure I'll be returning.
I hope you enjoyed that interview, and if you did, please leave a rating and review. If you like, you can reach me through email at craig@canadaehx.com. You can also visit my website where you'll find hundreds of articles on Canada's history as well as all my podcast episodes. Just go to canadaehx.com. And don't forget, you can support the podcast through Patreon. There are multiple tiers to choose from, all with great benefits. You can support the podcast for as little as $3 a month, just like all of these wonderful patrons have, and I apologize if I mispronounce any names. Randy McCallum, Diane Wade, Lori-Ann Kirby, Gary Dolovich, Nick Zinri, Shannon Marshall, Clinton Martinez, Dimitri Shove, Aaron O'Hara Myers, Robert Dunseith, Todd Casey, Catherine Roy, Luke S., J.P. Bear, Jason Hall, Phil Maynard, and Iris Gray. If you want, you can find me on Facebook. Just go to facebook.com/CanadianHistoryX. You can find me on Twitter. My handle is Craig Baird, CraigBeard. And you can find me on Instagram. Just go to Bairdo37. Thanks. We'll see you again next time.